The galactic hub station buzzed with activity as thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds moved through its massive corridors. Jasmine Rodriguez walked alongside her partner Kevin Chen, both exhausted after a grueling 14-hour shift at the Human Embassy's trade division. The fluorescent lights overhead cast strange shadows on the diverse crowd of aliens, Dwarthians with their crystalline exoskeletons, short Quellings with their 6 arms, and dozens of other species Jasmine couldn't even name. "I just want to get back to the quarters and sleep for a week," Kevin muttered, adjusting his diplomatic badge. Jasmine nodded in agreement, but something made her slow her pace. A sound. A soft, keening wail that cut through the ambient noise of the station like a knife through silk. "Do you hear that?" she asked. Kevin paused, his tired eyes scanning the crowd. "Hear what?" The sound came again, a child's cry, raw and desperate. Jasmine's head turned sharply toward a maintenance alcove about 20 meters away. Huddled in the shadows was a small figure, no taller than a human toddler, with pale blue skin and large dark eyes that seemed to swallow the light around them. "There," Jasmine pointed. That child, the creature, was clearly young, whatever species it belonged to. Its thin arms were wrapped around its knees, and its small body shook with each sob. What struck Jasmine most was the stream of beings walking past, Quelling merchants, Vorthian diplomats, even a group of Zindari scholars. Each one glanced at the child, some pausing for barely a second, before continuing on their way. "That's a Lyrian child," Kevin said quietly, recognition dawning on his face. "They're from the Outer Rim territories. Why isn't anyone helping it?" Jasmine's voice carried a sharp edge. Kevin sighed, the wariness in his expression deepening. "Lyrians are complicated. Their society has strict protocols about interference. If a child is separated from its family group, other Lyrians won't approach until the parents return, and other species." He trailed off, shrugging helplessly. "They respect those customs, I guess." Jasmine watched as a tall, elegant being with iridescent scales walked past the alcove. The being's eyes, all 4 of them, fixed on the crying child for a moment. Something that might have been concern flickered across its face, but then it looked away and continued walking. "That's insane," Jasmine breathed. "It's their culture. Jas we're supposed to respect," but Jasmine was already moving. Her exhaustion evaporated, replaced by something primal and undeniable. Kevin called after her, but she didn't stop. She couldn't. The Lyrian child looked up as Jasmine approached, its enormous eyes widening. Up close, Jasmine could see the translucent quality of its skin, the way delicate patterns of bioluminescence flickered beneath the surface like dying stars. The child couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 in human equivalent years. Jasmine knelt slowly, making herself smaller, less threatening. "Hey there," she said softly. "Are you okay?" The child stared at her, its crying quieting to small hiccups. It clearly didn't understand her words, but something in her tones seemed to register. Jasmine reached out slowly, telegraphing her movements, and gently placed her hand on the child's small shoulder. The moment she made contact, the child's bioluminescent patterns flared brightly, a cascade of light that rippled across its skin. Then, to Jasmine's surprise, the little creature launched itself forward, wrapping its thin arms around her neck and burying its face against her shoulder. "It's okay," Jasmine murmured, instinctively wrapping her arms around the trembling form. "You're okay now. I've got you." Kevin arrived at her side, his face a mixture of concern and resignation. "Jasmine, we could be causing a diplomatic incident." "I don't care," she said firmly, standing up with the child still clinging to her. The little Lyrian weighed almost nothing, like holding a bundle of feathers. "This is a scared child. I'm not walking away." A small crowd had begun to gather, aliens of various species watching with expressions that ranged from curiosity to clear disapproval. Jasmine heard murmurs in languages she didn't understand, but she could read the tone. She was breaking protocol, violating unspoken rules. "Excuse me." A voice cut through the crowd, deep and resonant. A Lyrian adult approached, nearly 7 feet tall, with the same pale blue skin as the child, but covered in intricate patterns of bioluminescence that pulsed with what Jasmine guessed was distress. "That is my offspring." Jasmine felt the child's grip tighten around her neck, but she kept her voice calm. "Your child was alone and crying. I couldn't just walk past." Lyrian parents' dark eyes studied her for a long moment. Around them, the crowd had grown larger. Jasmine could feel dozens of alien gazes boring into her back. "You are human," the Lyrian stated. "Yes, I have heard of your kind. You are new to the galactic community." The Lyrian's head tilted slightly. "You do not know our ways. Among my people, to touch another's offspring without permission is a grave offense." Jasmine's heart sank, but she didn't release the child. "I'm sorry if I've offended you, but this little one was terrified and alone. Where I come from, we don't leave children to suffer, regardless of custom or protocol." The silence that followed felt crushing. Then, slowly, the Lyrian's bioluminescent patterns shifted to a warm golden hue. "Where you come from," the parent repeated softly. "You stopped." The Lyrian stepped closer, gently reaching for the child. who reluctantly released Jasmine and transferred to its parents' arms. I was detained by security, a misunderstanding about my credentials. I told them I had to return to my child, but they said the youngling would be safe, that others would walk past and leave them undisturbed until I returned. It is our way. The Lyrian looked down at the child, who was now calm, its bioluminescence a soft, contented blue. Then those dark eyes lifted to meet Jasmine's again. But perhaps, the Lyrian continued, our way is not always the right way. Thank you, human, for stopping when no one else would. Jasmine felt tears prickling her eyes. Anyone would have. No, Kevin interrupted quietly, looking round at the crowd that was slowly dispersing. No, they wouldn't have. That's the point. The Lyrian parent bowed deeply, a gesture of profound respect. What is your name? Human who stops. Jasmine Rodriguez. Jasmine Rodriguez, the Lyrian repeated, as if committing it to memory. My family will remember this. We will remember that when all others walked past following the old ways, one being chose compassion over custom. As the Lyrian family departed, the child looked back over its parent's shoulder, its small hand raised in farewell. Jasmine waved back, a tired smile on her face. You know you're going to have to file a report about this, Kevin said, but there was pride in his voice. Worth it, Jasmine replied simply. They resumed their walk toward the quarters, but Jasmine felt different now, less exhausted, more alive. In a galaxy full of rules, protocols, and carefully maintained boundaries, sometimes the most revolutionary act was the simplest one. Sometimes, all you had to do was stop and care.